Hello, right, welcome. So something a little bit different this time. We're going to be actually reviewing an app. Now, I know if you watch my channel, you know I'm a massive fan of hardware and all that kind of stuff, but I do love some of the apps that are out there as well, and particularly this one, which I got very excited about when I saw it a few days ago. So this one is called Pure Acid by JimAudio. I believe it was released towards the end of last year. It's $15.99, that's UK pounds, which it's not stupidly expensive for an app. It's not cheap for an app either. But if you want basically to turn your iPad, if you've got an iPad already and you want to turn it into a 303 and also have kind of like an 808, a 909, some 606 and 707 drums, then this thing is bloody brilliant. I've got Rebirth. I've used that in the past, which I really liked because they look like 303s on there. But this thing is just like, for me, is on another level. So all I'm going to do in this one is, I've only had this for about 24 hours. So I've just been playing around with it. This is not going to be like an in-depth tutorial on all the features. If people want me to do that, then please stick some comments in the box below. If I get enough people who want me to do that, then I will do that and I'll go through all the features. This is just going to be like a general overview. It sounds brilliant. I'm doing a gig tonight, and I normally gig with my Roland TB03 for all my acid stuff. I'm actually not going to gig with that tonight. I'm using this instead. So that's how good it sounds. For me, it sounds better than the Roland, and it's got a few extra bits as well, which is quite nice. So let's listen to what it sounds like first. I'll go through a few of the presets. You get loads and loads of presets in here. Some actually classic acid lines in here. There's absolutely tons of stuff in here, and these are pretty cool actually for just getting a starting point going. So let's just pick some at random. I mean, listen to that 303. It's bloody lovely. Cats and cucumbers, okay. Now you can see we've got Defunk, which is basically, obviously, Daft Punk, which sounds pretty damn close to the original to me. There's some really cool ones. There is Chemical Brothers 1 off their first album. I can't remember the song it's called, but... And I should know, because I'm a massive Chemical Brothers fan. I can't laugh when I think what the track's called, but anyway. We've got some hard floor kind of stuff. That first beat is very, very hard floor. We've got high state consciousness. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, I could just listen to them all day. It's just like having an acid techno album just to listen to without playing anything else. Right, I'm just going to go on to one of my user banks just to sort of demonstrate what we've got. Right, so top section is our bass line, basically a sort of an emulation of the 303. So classic things, we've got a saw and a square wave. We've got a tune. We've got an LFO, which is a nice addition. I'll come on to that in a minute. We've got usual things, cut off resonance, envelope decay, accent. We've got a distortion built in. The thing I like about this more than the Roland because that's got a built-in distortion, is I find when you put the distortion in there, you lose all the low end. You don't seem to with this one, which is very nice. We've also got a high pass filter. Just take a bit of bottom end out if we need to. And a boost button, and then we've got an output, which is basically the volume from the output. Just along the top, we've got a play button, straightforward enough, and here is where we choose which bits of the screen we see. So we can turn bits on and off so you can have more screen. So if you turn the bass off, at the moment I've just got the sequencer and the drums and the keyboard on, so you can have different combinations of stuff. So there's the drums. If we get rid of the drums, you have a keyboard. If we get rid of the mixer, then we get a bigger keyboard and just the bass line thingy at the top. I tend to sort of just leave it on this setting. Here is where we load in all our presets, and you can obviously save your own, rename them, delete them, usual kind of things. Got a bit of a menu over here. So we've got some options for our audio, just to look at sample rate, buffer size, and so on. MIDI, we've got, because I've been using this with the Roland, the UM1 USB MIDI interface which goes into my Deluge to sequence this, which works perfectly, just works straight away. You can also do Bluetooth MIDI. Here you can choose your MIDI channels and different MIDI CC modes and so on. MIDI Learn is very cool. You just click on that, and then, because when I play live I have a little Korg Nano control, so what I've done is I mapped these buttons here to the dials on there, so I've got some sort of hardware usage of that. MIDI Learn just works really, really well. The only thing it doesn't seem to have is like to be able to use MIDI clock, because if we go, well, you can, but you can't, sort of. So if we go on sync, it's got Ableton Link, which is cool if you use Ableton Link on Ableton Live. You can have a host sync from an internal audio app, because I've used this. I tried it out with Korg Gadget, so if you press play on Korg Gadget, it will start this play. It doesn't seem to be able to take in any external clock, though, because I wanted to get this to start playing when I press play on the Deluge. For something, it didn't seem to do that, so I may have to kind of, I guess I could possibly route it through another app, but something I'd need to just have a fiddle about with. We've got general here, where you've got a limiter on your master, version info. You can choose different colours, so let's try, I don't know, pink and blue, lovely. Okay, so you get different colours. Let's go silver, make it look a bit more 303-ish. And then we've got utilities, so you can share your presets, which is nice, which I'll probably do when I've done some of these. You can export them all, you can delete all your the things, initialize current preset, and that will get you with a blank pattern. You can also do that from the menu up at the top. You can export the bassline as a MIDI file. I've not tried that yet, so that will send you out the obviously the MIDI for this, which you can then put into whatever you want to put it into. Because what I often do with this, I'll just sit with apps like this. I'll sort of sit at night and tootle away without having to be in my studio, and then I'll take it into the studio and put it on some of the hardware, put it in Ableton, and so on. Render Audio will export one loop of the current pattern, so it does give you a WAV file, so you can get loops out. It's a little bit limited, but you know there are those options there for it. So, the middle section, we've sort of got two options as to what we can see on here. At the moment, we're on the sequencer view. So, we've got pattern. We can have up to 12 patterns, and we can chain those together. So, let's give a quick example of that. I'm going to... no, I'm not going to do that. I'm still learning this. So, I'm going to copy pattern 1, press on 2, paste it there. So, we've now got 2. And I'm going to paste it on 3 as well. What I'm going to do with pattern 2, I was just going to randomly change the length of it, which is quite a nice way of messing about with different rhythms and so on. So I think you can do it like that. I'm not sure if you can have independent. You can have independent lengths. So then we can chain them together. So all you would do to chain them together is hold and press on the first one, and then you can kind of like slide along. You can see now the chain is 1 to 3. So if I play that now, it will do pattern 1, then pattern 2. Okay, so you can see they're kind of going around, not a full bar of each, because I've set the length differently. So yeah, you can chain patterns together. The only downside with the pattern chaining is you do have to do it in order. So you couldn't have like pattern 1, pattern 2, and then if you've got something you want to jump to pattern 10, you've got to put them in order. We can initialize the patterns. We can transpose them up and down. Quite a nice sort of live little function there. I'm just going to load that back in. So we'll go back to where I was. There we go. So then on the edit, this is our note screen. This visual display here I think is absolutely brilliant, because you can see where your accents and your slides are and how long your notes are. I'll kind of put some stuff in there, but you can see as we play that pattern. Okay, so this one is sliding down to there. That's got the accent with the upside down V on it, and you can see like the length of your notes as well. So this is where we would edit these, and we do this over here. So to select your note, you'd kind of go across here. So let's say I want that one. If you want to pitch it up and down, we just turn the pitch dial. You can do this on the fly as well. Or you can go up and down an octave. If I don't want that note, I would then just put a rest in there, or I can go back to putting a note in. If I want that one to slide up to there, we just put a slide on it. You'll see that then. And then gate, if you look at the notes, that's going to kind of, actually it won't do it with that one, I don't think. Let's get shorter notes. Let's get that first one. So gate will just make the notes slightly shorter or longer, depending on how you want your notes. And we've also got length, which is, so that's kind of, let's get that back in the middle. It's there. So yeah, you can just got to mess about with that sort of stuff. Just load it back in, because this is a track I'm just going to just try and work on, and I don't want to make sure I don't save over my work. Length is the length of the actual sequence itself. So we can have up to 32 steps. So there's your your 2-bar thing, and then you can just, with this data dial here, what I like to do then is just sort of again, great just for jamming out some ideas and some live stuff. Just mess about with the length, which is very cool. Tempo, self-explanatory. You do this with the data dial. Swing, the bass line of the drums have got their own independent swing settings. So the swing for the drums is down here. And again, we've got a gate over here, which so that works differently to the gate over here, because the gate over here will only do individual notes, whereas the gate over here will do the whole thing. So it's pretty straightforward. There is, well, I say pretty straightforward, it kind of is and isn't. At the moment, as far as I understand, there is no user manual for it, which is a bit of a pain, because you have to sort of just sit and play with it and work out what's what. But it's not too tricky. So that's basically your bass line stuff. So down the drums, we've got, let's turn that off so we'll just listen to the drums. So the basic kits, they're sort of based around, I think the kind of the bass, I don't know, it's sort of 808, 909 kind of sounds. It's not trying to be one of those things, but it is one of those things at the end of the day. So you've got two different bass drum options. You've got the kind of like the basic bass drum, which I believe is like a 909. And then here you can see you've got 06, 07 and 08. And you've got this slider here, and you can choose between the different bass drums. Snare drum again, so I'm assuming that the first one is like a 909. Then we've got 606, a 707 and 808 kind of thing. Then we've got toms, rims, claps, not sure what they're. We'll go through the sounds. Let's go through the sounds. So yeah, we've got toms, whatever they're supposed to be, rim. Okay, usual things, crash. So let's just pick a few more out at random. Okay, so plenty of sounds, but they do sound really, really nice. The kick drum's got a lot of bottom end to it. It's very, very fat. So if I just play through, I'll mess about with it. Okay, so you've got loads of options. So the drums, if you click on drum set, that's where you choose your drum sounds. And then if we're on trigger over here, that's where you can select the sound that you want, and then you can edit it and so on. So let's say I want to edit that snare drum. We'd go over onto step edit, and then I can put whatever I want in. Okay, we can mute. Just again, nice from a live performance point of view. No idea what this one does. I've not tried this, so this is just going to be, I'm assuming, just like accents on. Different things. Not really done that one yet. Tap record, I've not used, so I don't know. Erase. I don't know. I've not really done those bits yet, so I don't know. Anyway, so pattern. As with the bass line, we can have up to 12 patterns, and again, we can chain these together. So you just kind of do the same thing, kind of scroll along. So there's nothing on, I don't think, some of these. So there's pattern 3. Oh no, I've not played. So we go pattern 1, pattern 2, which is nothing on, and so on. We can then have kind of like momentary sort of fills. which you can program. You just hold your finger on it and click edit, I think. Oh, hang on. There. And then you choose which drum you want. So that's the drum fill I've put in there on pattern 1, that snare drum fill. So if we come out of that, go back into pattern. So if I just want that to play once, that 1 bar fill, I just play it. Now it'll just kind of, it will kind of play as far as I know, for as long as your finger stays on it. I think it should just do 1 bar of it and then go back. So like a shorter press is going to give you a shorter fill. I don't know, it seems a bit random, but anyway, I've got to mess around with that. So when we're on the trigger section, you can use the data thing to choose your drums, and it tells you here which one it is. So we've got the names down there. We can also select them with this. We've got tune, usual kind of things, tune and decay for your drums. We've got FX, sends, and I'll come on to effects in a second. Boost, self-explanatory. Pan, self-explanatory. Level, self-explanatory. And then we've got mutes and solos. So let's say I want to select that first bass drum. I can just solo that from over here, mute it, and so on. We've also got a swing function over here, which I mentioned previously, and then we've got a flam, which I guess is the flam amount, and you put your flams on down here. Let's have a listen to a flam. So, okay, so hang on, let's get the snare drum. Okay, and then we'll choose the flam amount. So the lower the number, kind of like the closer together. A flam is basically, if you don't know from a drumming point of view, is when you kind of hit the both sticks together, but one slightly before the other. So it kind of just gives you almost like a double hit. So that's kind of completely off. And then if we go right up to the top. Okay, and it's something I think did the 808 have the flam? It was 808, oh no, or both, I can't remember. So I have another little option that you've got there, and then obviously the output. Let's just go back to the bass line and realise I've not mentioned about the LFO on the top there. So the LFO is, you can't direct it anywhere. It is just hardwired into the cutoff, but it does give it, I've got it going up quite high there and on a really, really slow rate. It just gives it a bit of movement, so it's automating the cutoff. So hopefully you can hear that going up and down. We'll go a bit faster on that. Nice little addition to it. I mean, it's something that like the 303s don't have. I'm not sure what the new stuff has, but like the new Behringer one. But I do kind of like that LFO because it just gives you a bit more movement of the sound, because otherwise it's a little bit limited. Right, mixer, the last bit. So we've got loads of effects built in, and we've got, so you can decide how much. We've got FX A and FXB. So A is basically a delay. With different, can I change the delay on that? No, that one's, I think. No. So we've got basically a delay and a hall reverb. We've got different routings we can have with this. So it can be straight to the output. So it will bypass the master effects thing here. We can send it into FXB, so it's kind of like guitar pedals chained together. So you'll get reverb on your delay. Or we can send it to the master effects, and I'll sort of show you what that does in a second, and we can turn it off and on with here. Same thing with the reverb. So let's put some on the bass line. So let's turn them off on the drums, right? So let's turn FX. We'll just have a listen to the reverb at the moment. So you've got this kind of XY pad here, which is quite nice. Oh no, there are other ones. I tell a lie. Okay. Right. Just got even more excited. I didn't know these were here. Just discovered this. All right, we've got phaser, flangers, all sorts of stuff going off here. Let's have a phaser. Why not? Okay, so I'm assuming we got the same thing on FXB. We have. Same things. Okay, all right. Even better value for money. I just thought it was delay and a reverb. So there you go. You learn by messing about with stuff. Right, let's just get back to what I had previously. So this is kind of like sort of like your mixer section. You've got your output here. We can solo stuff in this bit. Okay, and we can also send these then into the master effects. So if I wanted, so for example on here, I'm sending the drums to the master effects, but I'm not sending the bass line to the master effects. So I'm just going to put these to out. So, and I've got a filter on here. So what I can do is if I want to filter just out the drums and still keep the bass line going. Okay, great way of doing that. I can also, what was the other thing I was going to do? Because you can also hear just the effects as well. Hang on, let me just think. There is a hold button on here as well, so if I wanted to filter that out and leave that there, but then just bring it back in. And we've got loads of effects in here. Can we choose them this way again? Yep. Let's just stop that a sec. So we've got delay, tape delay, loopers, like a vinyl like stop thing. I'll show you that in a second, which is pretty cool. Loads of effects in here. So if we go to the vinyl one, let's do it on the whole thing. Let's send the bass line over to there as well. Okay, now you can hear in the background we've still got the stop it a second. You can still hear some of the stuff playing in the background. That's because I'm still sending these two effects, effects A and effects B, are going straight to the output. So they're not going through there. They're kind of output. They're bypassing that. If we send those to the master effects, then it will get rid of everything. And depending where you press on here, and you can also kind of like do scratchy stuff as well. So the master effects, we can have those set in there. We can also use, if we click on bassline, we can choose different combinations of these dials up here to mash about with this XY pad. So you can have cut off and resonance. Let's go on here. So these are all the different ones you can have. Cut off an envelope, cut off and decay, cut off an accent, and then we can have envelope and resonance, envelope and decay, envelope and accent. Okay, from a live little performance point of view, you know, brilliant, this kind of thing. Just you can touch your screen and go away. And that is kind of the basics of it. To be fair, I probably don't really need to do a lot on in-depth tutorial and stuff. The couple of things other on the sequencer, which I've got to remember how to do because it can generate some patterns for you. So let's just put in, there is an initialized patch in here. So if I put that in, and we'll basically just get a kick drum on all four and then just like notes on C. I believe it's on C on there. Now I've got to remember how we get to the thing that generates patterns. So I mean straight away that's got your thing going. So you know we can select that. Oh, it's on here somewhere, isn't it? Oh yes, there are obviously these other bits I've forgotten about. So I'm just going to randomly just octave these up and down. That'll do. Right. Now we can reverse it if we press reverse. It's going to play it the opposite way around. We can shuffle the notes around, which will just kind of give us some random sort of patterns. We can put some variations in there as well, which is going to give you some accents and slides. So it's just a nice way of just generating a pattern, because to be honest, most acid bass lines are just sort of random stuff thrown together, if I'm being honest, and they sound pretty cool. Here we've got like the bassline composer, so we can choose. So let's say I want to do something in, I don't know, D sharp, I don't know, Dorian, and we can either have notes, gate, all notes lengths, notes and rests. I know I'm just going to do this. Let's just do all notes and then generate, and it's going to make a pattern for us. Okay, so it's sometimes a little bit hit and miss, but what we can do with shift as well, we can like nudge the notes along a little bit. See if we want to get a pattern that we like. We can also delete stuff, and we can insert blank lengths as well. So yeah, you got that bit as well, which is something I thought I'd show you. So that is it. Hopefully that's stayed on screen. Go buy it. I mean, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I know JimAudio does some other apps. I've not looked at those. But for the price, for $15.99, and like I say, it's kind of at the moment replaced my Roland 03. I may do some patches and stuff on this and stick them up on my Patreon if people are into that. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Usual things, please like, subscribe, share the videos around. If you want to support me and the channel, then I do have a Patreon account, which will get you some free stuff. There is some new stuff going up on there fairly soon, because I've not put anything on for a while. I need to get some stuff up on there. But yeah, or if you're not bothered about free stuff, you just want to help support the channel and keep it going, then all good. It's either $1 a month or $3.50 a month. There are links to it there will be an information card here, or it's probably already appeared. There'll be an end screen on it, and the links in the description as well, and so on. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.